Obviously the 95R, then the 2000R, which had all the aero and stuff like that. And boy, those are absolute beasts on the road course. Nice. And then now we have the 350 and the 350R. But you got a pretty special 350R, don't you?
We have something here that I wanted to mimic the heritage of these R cars.
Right.
So in 2018, right before they mandated rear cameras, I ordered a 350R in red to pay homage to like the 93 or the 2000. And interestingly enough, no radio and no air conditioning.
Oh wow, let's take a peek.
So it's very similar, and nothing in the trunk either. So it's right over here, let's take a look. So this is the 2018 350R, but we call it the delete version. So most of these cars came with electronics packages. This particular one made it right under the gate before they mandatory backup cameras. So if you come and look at the car, you're going to see that there's literally no radio, no air conditioning in this car, which pays homage to the R cars of the past. As you can see, there's a 2000R behind this car. And right when you get into the dash, you see this big R here. That's where the radio was supposed to go. No air conditioning, so this is all stripped out. And if we go to the trunk, there's absolutely nothing in the trunk. So you can see it's all stripped out. Kind of like a little bit of a factory racer that a lot of people didn't know about when they were ordering these cars. Great car to fit into the R collection.
All right, guys, welcome back. I couldn't leave. We had to do more videos. This is just too much fun. And I wasn't going to get out of here without letting Dave tell you about this incredible piece. We love Mustangs, but I mean the Ford GT, the heritage. And when Dave orders a car, there's always a lot of thought that goes into the color packages and the style of the car, the options, and how you want the car to present. So tell us exactly why you went with this paint and how this car came about.
So this is a 2022 Ford GT Heritage Edition. Each year that Ford GT was built, they put out a heritage model to commemorate different milestones in Ford. This particular one happens to be a 64 prototype. So before the Ford GTs hit the racing circuit, they built a number of prototypes with this paint scheme. And Ford, at the end of the program, decided that they wanted to pay homage to the original cars. So this particular one is part of their 2022 series. And you know, I'm just very, very lucky and honored to have a piece of Ford history here and be able to own this car. It has some new and some old in it. So the dark blue, which may look black depending on where you're standing, is a new color in Ford. It's antimatter blue. So that kind of ties into the new side of Ford. And of course, anybody who knows Ford, that off-white color, Wimbledon white, I think just makes this car just pop. This is, as many of you know, this is all carbon fiber car from the nose to the tail. It's all hand-built in Canada through a company called Multimatic. And as a Ford GT buyer, you're able to go and visit the plant. And I was able to do that back in February of 2022, which just, if you had an appreciation of these cars before, you just can't imagine seeing these cars built and your car being built on a 12 station assembly line that they're just rolling your car to the next station. So there's plenty of really neat features about this car. Ford really puts a lot of time and effort into putting details and blending things into the car. So if you notice, I don't know if you could zoom in, everything's carbon fiber. So this is an exposed carbon fiber stripe that they accent both fenders with. And as we get into the roof, they take that same carbon fiber stripe and run it on the over-the-top stripe in here. What a lot of people don't know, and I was told this at the factory during this production of this car, is this is one of the only models, if the only model, that if you come back to the rear of the car, the stripe goes through the exhaust ports openings in the bumper. Most Ford GTs, the striping stops right at the end, but this one carries through. You can see how intricate this is, trying to get this detail right and over through. So just an extremely cool model. You could also see on the wheels that the wheels are antimatter blue. They're carbon fiber wheels with a inner exposed carbon fiber on the inner barrel, but the exterior is the antimatter blue that blends into the hood. And in the interior, all specific, this is all specific to this model, is a blue interior. You can see it's just all accented. And again, the prototype that they made and built in the 60s, blue interior. And of course, where would a Ford car be? Especially a homage to a racing without a nice Ford on the side. Again, exposed carbon fiber in the Ford. These cars will be built into first quarter, what I'm being told, of 2023. 2022 will be the last model year, and they'll build 1,350 of these cars by the time the program's all over.
Dave, that was incredible information on the Ford GT, but you got more heritage in here. You got a lot that ties into this car.
Yes.
So we've got GT500s, we've got GT350s. Mm-hmm. Tell us why you ordered these cars.
So again, you said it earlier, there's always kind of a plan and a theme here. So with the heritage model and why it was so important to me, and you know, it was hard to get. They only allocate, they'll probably only build about 30 of these cars, Ford GTs, in this livery. But I was lucky enough to get it, and having this car, which is a 2020 Heritage 350R, it again pays homage to the old days with the Wimbledon white. Classic color package. This car, if you've noticed recently on the resale market, has gone berserk. People wanting this color combination because it was only a one-year color with the striping, and especially the R's. I think they made 270 of these models then.
And I'll point out, when you look at the Wimbledon white, you see white. But mm-hmm. then when you see white yes. next to it, like on this GT500, you see the massive, hopefully the camera picks it up, you see the massive difference in color between the two. And obviously this is heritage with Ford. Mm-hmm. There was so many performance models in Wimbledon white, from the 66 Fairlanes to the Thunderbolts. Yes. I mean, that color just runs deep in the roots of Ford.
It's iconic.
Yep.
And it's funny you say that, because one of the reasons the white car is put here is to show people who don't know about the Wimbledon white what the difference really is. And right. it's really vast difference.
It's night and day.
Yes. So the other heritage, obviously this came afterwards. I had already had my order in for this. I already had this, and then all of a sudden a Heritage GT500 came up. Now this time in Brittany blue, which is another heritage color back from the 60s. But this one interesting being Wimbledon white stripes. So a lot of people just assume stripes are white. But I think Ford knocked it out of the park with this model. They, the color, when people come into this area and just look at the cars, they just are really attracted to this color. And they'll sometimes just walk right over the Ford GT and just come right over here and look at this paint color. But it's the Wimbledon white stripes, I think, really make this car pop, because again, like Evan said earlier, if these were white stripes, they'd really just it'd be too loud. And it's really right. muted, and again, just really, really made the car work well. And these cars are currently on sale and are very hard to find.
I just had one as a press car last week when I was
I saw
in
that
Detroit,
on your channel, yes.
And that was such a fun car. Yes. It was a big attention mm-hmm. getter. Everybody seemed to really dig the color, mm-hmm. and I'm a big Brittany blue guy. Mm-hmm. 67 GT500 to me, and Brittany blue with the white stripes mm-hmm. would be my favorite, probably classic Mustang, even though every day my favorite kind of changes. But wow, just looking around, Dave, I'm gonna have to come back and do something, forget the cars, just your collection of memorabilia yes. mm-hmm. and dealer information, mm-hmm. like a rug from a dealership, like probably just got stomped and thrown out, and you have just a Motorcraft sign, but so many cool things that my eyes are just going around 100 miles an hour. I love the memorabilia. I have a small collection comparatively of automobilia myself. I love collecting, And it's just really neat to see some of this stuff that I've seen over the years, but so much of this stuff got thrown out, and you've been able to preserve it, which is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's, you know, the memorabilia is just as important because it shows era, it shows all the things that we saw when we walked in the dealership back in the day that, like you said, just went in the garbage. And finding it, resurrecting it, finding new old stock, sometimes it's just so fun, and displaying it. People come in here and say, I remember that sign when I was a kid and I walked in the parts department. Or the SVT signs, you know, how many versions there were. You know, you really go into a rabbit hole on all the different stuff that they produced back in the day. And again, they're just thrown out. So it's neat to have people come in here and be able to show the story.
Yeah, I'm appreciative of it. I mean, the posters, I see you have some Bob Glidden team shirts over there, or Ford racing shirts from different teams, a Richard Petty team shirt over there, a fire suit.
And our security guard, of course.
Yeah, you got to have that guy over there. Somebody's got to watch over the place, because otherwise I might try to move in.
and that's a real jumpsuit from the DAP back in the 90s and early 2000s,
Wow.
Dearborn Assembly Plant. So somebody actually wore that putting these cars together.
All right, guys, so thanks for watching the channel. Please be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. Of course, leave a comment, because we always want to know what you're thinking. I can't thank Dave enough. He's had us up here multiple times. The show was incredible, and we'll be back with more REVan content. So thanks for watching.